Let's look at the political year that was with Political Analyst Rebone Tau. Thank you so much for your time, Rebone. Stan Matavata, when you look at that beginning of the package by SAB, he endorses, of course, President Cyril Ramaphosa at the January 8th, event. And of course, this, drew some criticism from others who are saying that the race is not open. But then we saw things turning at the conference at Nasrec. Do you think he will be invited back into the president's inner core, or is this it?
Good afternoon to the viewers at home. The right of the matter that he never had a seat at the president's inner core. Because the inner core, if we remember, I think around towards end of October, you had a slate coming out, and that slate had Gwede Mantashe as the national chair, and the likes of Senzo Mkhune as the deputy president. We saw Mkhune also being dumped, and you had Fikile Mbalula as the secretary general in that slate. So he was never part of the inner core. But this shows that Stan took time to engage his comrades in his respective province, the different regions, on that. Okay, as Limpopo won the position of national chair, but we are not finding joy from those that are close to the president's inner core, we might have to consider. I think he left it till the 11th hour, which made it very difficult for him to persuade these delegates and the leaders of certain regions, because his pronouncement just came in a few hours before the nomination started, the election started. But the sad reality is that this was a province, that pronounced itself before even the succession debate was open. He did not play politics on this one.
I wonder what it then will mean for him when it comes to his home province. But there was also that, moment that others thought was going to be big at conference. And that's when, of course, Arthur Fraser laying charges against President Cyril Ramaphosa. But for those supporting President Ramaphosa, it didn't seem to be much of an issue when you look at what was happening at Nasrec. And they believe that he is going to still survive this particular scandal. How do you see this one playing out in 2023?
Absolutely. I mean, up to now, the president has not been charged. We don't know what they think of the NPA. We don't know what SARS is thinking. We don't know what the Hawks are thinking, So it's clear that, him winning this conference, it might be also a game changer around these charges. We have seen the guy who apparently bought the Buffaloes, on the 25th of December, I think, around 2019, saying that, no, this was a legit transaction. So this might be that, okay, this was indeed a legit transaction. We don't know, because as things stand, there's a lot of things that are not making sense. Why the money was kept at the farm for so long, why was the money not declared, and up to now, SARS has not said anything, which is a bit worrying. But this shows that when we are a sitting president, there are times you're able to get away with certain things, and I don't see him now. He comes back stronger now after this conference, going into 2023 and going to 2024. And I mean that we've been hearing the rumors that there might be a reshuffling. Besides that, those are rumors. We know that the Minister of Public Service, Ayanda Shogo, resigned sometime in April or May this year. That position has been vacant, and now with the election of Fikile Mbalula to the position of Secretary General, now that position is going to be vacant. So it will be very interesting how the president is going to deal with this reshuffling, and obviously he has to consider the faction, because the faction, you remember that there were also rumors that the president was about to resign, and that the faction actually spoke to him that not to resign after that report by Parliament, So this shows that the inner core has got the upper hand, and they will influence that reshuffling, because literally they have saved the president and make sure that they deliver him under the cloud of Pala Pala.
It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out in 2023. But another political party that found itself in turmoil, it's not the first time, COPE imploding, and we see drama at its press conference. We see one voice, with that of the leader. At the same time, other contradicting voices, and that is through the spokesperson, Ndate Bloom. So there's quite a lot that was going on there, and some have said that these ructions were a final nail in the coffin that is COPE, and it can never be resurrected. Your thoughts?
No, absolutely. I mean, if you look at COPE, its formation after Polokwane, there's been a serious decline, since the 2009 elections. If you look at all the previous elections that have taken place after the main ones, after Polokwane, you can see that the decline, the numbers in parliament are declining. There are people like Sam Shilowa who has left the party. You have people like Shopper's daughter, I forgot her name, who was the SG who left the party. So a lot of people have actually left the party. So there is no hope for COPE as things stand.
And I mean, when you look at then what is also happening within the Joburg Council, of course, their speaker is the member of COPE. But interestingly enough, what we saw in the Johannesburg Council this year was Mpho Phalatse being ousted through a motion of no confidence. She takes the issue to court. She comes back, and some have said that she's had the last laugh. But did she really have the last laugh, or do you think the ANC will try again?
The biggest problem right now is the issue of the EFF, because the ANC can't do it alone. And we know what happened in Ekurhuleni. What happened in Ekurhuleni has really upset the EFF. So it's only if the ANC can go back to the table with the EFF. But if those discussions are not going to come through between the ANC and the EFF, the ANC will not be able to do it by themselves.
And I suppose then that goes back to the conversation with some saying that the EFF will continue to hold the kingmaker card on this one.
Absolutely. I mean, in Gauteng alone, it's not only Johannesburg, it's Ekurhuleni, it's Johannesburg, it's Tshwane. So, and these are all three, all of these are metros, in the capital city, the economic hub, the industrial hub, So this is a very strategic municipalities, and all of them are under the DA. The EFF continues to play a very strategic position, because either way they might vote with the DA, but not support, openly, in terms of negotiating with them for maybe mayoral posts, But the problem is that the ANC, I think, needs to stop being an arrogant party, but think about the livelihood of the people of Gauteng or of Johannesburg, of Ekurhuleni or of Tshwane, if they're serious about servicing the people. Because this, outside of political parties, is about the residents of those cities.
And I mean, when we think about the Democratic Alliance as well, we saw this political party losing once again black leaders, and also then bringing again that debate that has always been raging, that it doesn't look like it's a political party for black leaders. But speaking to some of those within, that party, they seem to downplay this particular issue, with others saying that, they're not really bothered by the exit of some of these particular leaders. How worried should they be about this, especially going into 2024?
I think the reason why they're not worried, because, in politics, when those that are prominent leave, you also now get to be promoted, So this means for a promotion for those who are within the party, they get to hold those strategic positions within the party. So the right of the matter that indeed the DA is no longer the DA that used to say it is a party for all South Africans and a non-racial party, looking at the number of prominent, black leaders that have left the party.
What about the Zondo Commission's report, Rebone, because this is one of those big stories that was not only big on the legal front, but it was also big on the political front as well. And we saw quite a lot being talked about, the DA as well releasing statements, the EFF and all of that. But a lot has been said about the findings of that, those very reports, the series and the volumes, that is. But we've seen very little on the accountability front.
Absolutely. We've seen very little. I fully agree with you. And I say, if you look at even the ANC dynamics within the party themselves, you have someone who's very close to the president, Gwede Mantashe, who's the national chair, who's mentioned, around Busasa. You've got the Deputy Minister of Defense, who was also appearing in the slate of President Ramaphosa for additional members, Thabang Makwetla, who's also linked to Busasa. You have people like Zizukoto, who were receiving money from the same Saudi, who's in court right now with the suspended Secretary General. You have Minister of Communications, Kumbuzo, who is also implicated on issues around when she was a board member at Binel. And these are people that are close to the president. So one awaits to see what will happen, especially with those who are close to the president, who have been mentioned in this report, who have admitted, to receiving those things like Busasa with the security upgrades, even himself, the Deputy Minister of of Intelligence, Zizigoda, admitting to receiving this money. But nothing has happened up to now, But this that shows that President Ramaphosa, if he's serious about corruption, he must not fear or protect those who are close to him. He must show us that he is a man that is very decisive when it comes to fighting corruption, and there is nothing like that in animal farm that others are equal over the others.
So does it then, listening to what you're saying, does it then look like we'll see some accountability, though, in the coming year, as the president continues to say that government is still, applying its mind and all of that? Are we likely to see anything move there?
I think for me starts with the president. What kind of a cabinet does he want if he's going to do this reshuffling? And especially for those who have been implicated, the conference has passed. He has gotten his second term. He's not going to run for his third term. We know what happened to the former president Thabo Mbeki when he tried to run for third term. Even President Zuma did not even try to run for third term. So he's got now, between now and 2024 elections, to show South Africans that he's indeed serious when it comes to fighting corruption. And that will start with those also who are close to him. You must not look at this thing from a fictional point of view from ANC politics, because he's not coming for the third term.
Interesting times ahead, Rebone. Thank you so much for that. Do appreciate it. Let's see then what 2023 has in store for us when it comes to politics. That is Rebone Tau, a political analyst.